just heard Keith Urban and The Ranch performing a track from their new CD, also called The Ranch. Well, he's back in Australia on a brief tour. Please welcome to country music's hottest new singer-songwriter. I get so excited when I talk about these people. Please welcome live to Midday, Keith Urban. Welcome to Midday.
Thank you.
Now, I love that song.
Thanks.
Beautiful song, nice ballad. Now, 4 years ago, you went Australia, Nashville. What's it been like? Paint the picture.
Have you got a piece of canvas big enough? It's been hard. Initially, it was a lot harder than I think all of us were prepared for. But Nashville's a place where you have to stay. You got to go and stay there and really show them that you're committed. And you're just gonna do what's required, you know.
What were the biggest risks you faced?
I think losing our Australian audience was part of my concern, because we have to be away for so long that it would be easy for people in Australia to think, well, you know, what the hell, you know, he doesn't care about us, and not understand why we have to stay there. So that was, you know, part of my concern, but that seems to have not happened, which is really great to know. And I guess, you know, losing our musical identity in the midst of the corporate world is always a bit of a worry, but having the band around to sort of keep sure the music vision stayed the same has been really good. Well,
Nashville, the town itself, the capital of country music, the international capital of country music, what's it like? Is it, you know, big 10-gallon hats and horns on the front of cars, or...?
No, not quite that way. I mean, there's definitely elements of that whole sort of rhinestone perception of Nashville. It's in the tourist area, you know. But on Music Row in the past, where all the businesses are done and that sort of thing, it's a lot more contemporary than I think people are aware of.
Now, success you've enjoyed over there and fought hard for has been terrific. You recently worked with Garth Brooks. Tell me about that.
We did when he played a concert in Central Park up in New York, and massive audience, and yeah, we're seeing it there now. And what some guys did, because HBO is a big cable television company in America, broadcast this, which is what we're watching. Some of the promoters had this great idea to rent out stadiums, amphitheatres, whatever, and put up these massive big screens and invite people to come along and watch the concert on the massive screen live as it's happening in New York. So it's almost like being there with a full PA system and the whole thing. So it's fabulous. So we did one of those shows in Birmingham, in Alabama, and so we come out and played half an hour, 45 minutes, get the crowd all warmed up. And then they brought out the big, massive screen, and then Garth was live from New York. So it was a very indirect sort of support, but it was still a lot of fun.
The same bill as Garth Brooks. It's very impressive. So like a simulcast around the country.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
OK, Keith Urban, I mentioned Queensland. Anybody from Queensland here?
Great.
Oh, golly. Well, excuse me, Keith. Excuse me. Hello. Listen, why don't you and I just have a little chat?
Worries, mate. No worries.
Except for, you know, you could have at least lied. Oh, my gosh. And a boy from Caboolture.
Yeah, how about that?
I used to drive past Caboolture. We used to go up that way.
Yeah.
You don't even know where I'm talking about, do you? Oh, Scully, the education we need in this country.
It's about an hour north of Brisbane. Yeah.
And in fact, you're going on tour. You're going back to Caboolture.
We are. We're going to be playing in Caboolture, which is... I've never played there, really, as a band or as a unit or anything, so... Playing the Caboolture RSL. Huge.
Now, so where did it all start for a young Keith Urban?
I started playing guitar when I was 6, and my parents' record collection was predominantly American country music. So that's why when I started learning songs, it was just like Charlie Pride, Jim Reeves, and Merle Haggard, Buck Owens, Glen Campbell, all that sort of stuff, and a whole mixture of things.
But you were a young Westfield boy in doing shopping centres and all that?
You've been doing your research, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I was a member of the Westfield Super Juniors.
The Super Juniors.
The Super Juniors, absolutely.
And what about, you worked for Channel 10 up at Mount Cootha?
Yeah, we did some shows up there. Most of the shows we did in the Westfield Juniors was shopping centre performances, Toombul and Indooroopilly, the Westfield shopping centres up there.
We have so much in common, Keith. I remember those days. Now, Glen Campbell, you mentioned you grew up with your parents listening to the Charlie Prides and stuff. Glen Campbell is someone who you enjoyed very much. Have you caught up with him?
I haven't had a chance to meet him yet, and I know a lot of the same people, so that's often how you sort of eventually get to meet your hero sort of thing. But No, I haven't, but I've been a major fan of his, and Jimmy Webb too, particularly, who's the songwriter of all those great songs.
Glen Campbell is in fact on the show in a couple of weeks.
I know, we were a week too early.
Oh, and Jimmy Webb was on here earlier this year. So do you do any of Glen Campbell's stuff, or? We
sometimes, in the middle of the show, I sometimes slot in a few acoustic numbers and just kind of bring it down to a really intimate mode, and whatever's sort of in my head at the time, I'll just whip that out. Sometimes it's a Glen Campbell song, more often than not.
So when you first got together with the band, when you know, a young Keith Urban, Dire Straits, I know, was really bubbling through at that stage. Where was your interest with Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits?
I played in a group called Kids Country, which was another group that we put together to play in shopping centres and so on. It was all kids about, 10, 11, 12, up to about 15. And we formed our own country band and played in these shopping centres. And I met a guy in that band called Reg Grant, who's a guitar player from Brisbane. And he was a major Dire Straits fan, so he played all these Dire Straits records over and over again.
Do you still remember any of those?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, go on, you got to get... Do a bit of the
Are you going to play some?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Love Mark Knopfler. And also, tell me, what happens in Nashville? Can't you afford proper jeans?
That's how hard it's been, Kerri.
This is a
how
tough
hard
life.
it is. It's shocking.
And you look as if you need a good feed as well.
Yeah, always do. Yeah.
I mean, you've got to get you some new jeans. We've got a wardrobe department. Nadia can
That'd be
help
great.
you there.
Some burger vouchers and stuff. That'd be good. So I miss my mum over there. I miss the home cooking. That's what it is. Well, this is probably not representative of the guitar playing style, but at least we used to do this little thing. You get a shiver in the dark. It's a raining in the park with meaning time. Side of the river, stopping you hold everything. A band is blowing Dixie, double four times. The band's on it, here we go. Yeah, you feel alright when you hear that music ring. Yeah. We are the Sultans, yeah. Short version. We are the Sultans of Swing. There you go. Man, champion. Man.
Are they good or what?
Oh, it's great. It's right there, spontaneous.
Aren't they terrific?
Gotta love that.
They did that with Stevie Wonder as well. That's what's having the best
That
band
same
in
song?
Australia is about. No, fine. What did you do for Stevie Wonder, Jeff?
The Wichita Lineman.
Yeah. I'd like to hear that.
Oh, close. Now, the Desiree, we just heard. The other song, what's your other single off the CD?
The first single we had off this record was called Walk in the Country, which is not released in the States yet, 22nd of this month. They're gonna
Great video
release
clip.
that.
I got to tell you, great video clip. Now, so that's not released, this one here?
This is not released in the States yet. We pulled the video out first, and there's so much competition for country radio in the States. There's over 2,500 stations. They get approximately 80 singles a week, and they add about 2. So you know, there's about 70-odd songs that just never see the light of day.
So you've got some great American characters I can just see by the faces of the baseball caps
The guys in that clip were there. They lived in this small town called Adams in Tennessee, population like 5 or something. And it's really just very much a ghost town. But a couple of old guys live there in the main street, boarded up old stores. And they were just dancing around during the clip, and the photographer sort of looked around and went, the director goes, man, you know, you guys want to be in the clip? And they went, yeah. So they just came over and they're drinking their moonshine, and it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and they're just plastered. So they're in the video. Great.
Listen, congratulations on the band as well, because you're a Keith Urban solo act. You've got the ranch, so I guess it's nice and warm and cosy when you've got some people with you. Yeah,
I mean, to me, I've always been a band anyway. Even it's been the 3 of us for 4 years now. And although it was just my name, I always thought that my name meant 3 people. We got to Nashville, and they started trying to single me out and put me with session players. And with all due respect to session players, I really like being in a band. So it was
like a family.
Causing such confusion that I said, let's get rid of my name totally. So it's actually just the ranch. It's not Keith Urban and, but we're still using that out here until we wean people into the ranch.
Oh, we love to know it's Keith Urban and the ranch, and the ranch and Keith Urban, whatever. It's talent personified. Must make mention it's tonight at the Sydney's Harbourside Brasserie.
Yeah.
Oh, let's give a big plug to West Tamworth Leagues
Oh, yeah,
Club.
got to do that.
Hi, Tamworth.
Hey, Tamworth.
And also, don't forget, we've got all the dates on your screen. Caboolture. There you go. Caboolture Emerald Country Music Spectacular, the Lismore Workers. Keith Urban, it is wonderful to know that you've come home so we can enjoy your personified talent. Have a great time and more success to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Urban.